SCP-93 Violet Test. Mirror Test 3. Color Violet. Subject is D84930. Male, 21 years of age, average physique. Subject's background shows instance of second-degree murder of a police officer during a drug bust. Normally, this crime, while severe, and would not qualify a person for a sentence that would end up with us. The murder of the officer was especially brutal and excessively violent was used. Subject was uncooperative and had to be reminded that his cooperation would only benefit him. Subject then the provided mirror while holding 93, which emitted a violet color. Outside technicians observed the mirror retained true reflection until subject had completely passed into it, at which time the view changed to a cityscape, urban, lightly tinged in purple, similar to the first test. Video feed follows the attached video. Camera flickers life and pans around the area. Subject is in what seems to be a modern downtown district similar to a city like New York. Streets are mostly barren except for a few cars of unknown maker and model. These cars look highly advanced and streamlined. Subject attempts to look into the car's window without being instructed to, but backs away, remarking there's a rank-ass stank coming in the areas around most of them. Subject is persuaded to move closer to one car and does so with coughing, wiping off a window which is covered in dust. Dirt. The inside of the car appears to be completely filled with a strange brown matter. There is nothing at all visible other than the brown matter. Two other cars produce the same results. However, a fourth vehicle seems to be more recent than the others, and sides are immaculate. Doors to this vehicle also have unlocked, and subject quickly gets inside, then shuts the door. Subject is chastised for the behavior by Control, who reminds him his lifeline is nothing more than a cable, which is sturdy enough that closing the door does not injure it, but they cannot recover a person in motion. Subject argues with Control over this issue and pans the camera across the dashboard, pointing out he couldn't drive away even if he tried. The dashboard is void of any recognizable controls, no ignition, no steering. It has several small blank screens that are theorized to be GPS systems. Subject remains in the car while Control discusses how to proceed, so the city landscape is far larger than the previous test destinations. Control debates this issue while Subject stares around the cityscape from the car. During one pan, a face is clearly seen staring into the car. Eyes watching the subject, however, this was not noticed until post-footage review. Subject made no comment regarding this entity at any point. Control, shortly after informing subject to remain where he is, and an escort team is dispatched to the mirror to join him. A team of 4 armed personnel is sent to the mirror and proceeds to the subject's location. The subject is then instructed to remove his harness, which is recovered. Subject's video feed then ends and is replaced by a wireless unit used by the escort team. The video quality is in the unit subject to more interference, but in order to mark the mirror exit, a service team is placed through the mirror. Subject leaves the car and now travels with the escort team. Given the myriad of the possible option, they are instructed to simply move to the closest building and attempt to enter it. A building with etched glass doors bearing the name XEA Research Partners Incorporated. The doors are ajar. Magnetic jar lock system is present, but has no power. He mentions the building's main lobby. The area resembles a stereotypical corporate lobby. There's a C-shaped reception desk, and a chair pushed far away from it is left in a hurry. PC terminal at the desk as well. Team approaches the desk, and the camera bearer is instructed to examine the PC. The unit does not appear to have a powerful Faith OS operating system appears on the screen, requesting a login and password. The keyboard is present, but it's remarkably slim and touch-sensitive keys rather than press-down keys. After one failed attempt, the lock screen replies that maximum attempts have been exceeded and the PC turns off. No actual tower or power button can be located, so team moves forward. Behind the reception desk, there are 2 elevators, one on the left and one on the right. Similar touch sense keys, and the elevator on the left is broken. The door open and the shaft empty. The elevator on the right appears to functional and is power. Without a clear destination, the team is instructed to proceed to the highest floor to get lay of the city. All floors appears to be accessible, to the highest being 114. In reality, 112 has 13 and 113 are missing from the keypad. Journey up the elevator is uneventful. During this time, the elevator does not appear to take longer as it passes 13, then 113, suggesting that entire floor is built and nothing put on it. At 114, the doors open and the team enters a large lounge-type area. There are many couches with dust on them, a widescreen apparently LCD TV and approximately 60+ inches. Size dominates the wall in front of them with no power. A series of windows are open, allowing the sunlight at the far end in which the team proceeds and angles the cameras outside. The view of the city is astonishing. This building of one of the tallest visible, but certainly not alone in its structure. The city below is gray and silent, no evidence of life in this altitude. Some buildings in the city have managed a brown growth and appears to have splashed against them in a gelatinous mass, flowing and then seeped down before hardening. Other buildings have floors through the grass and shattered at the same brown substances sweeping at the edge. One member of the team calls the camera bearer at the windows on the other side. On the other side of the building, the city edges can be seen. Attention is pointed towards the expressway that encircles the city upon the crawls. Another of the large half-body humanoids dragging itself in the elastic arms that was witnessed in the previous test. Travels the highway, then moves out of sight. The team returns to the elevator and notes that a button has already been activated for floor 74. No one has approached the elevator, so the team agrees to travel to this floor. On the 74th floor, the door opens to reveal a waiting area that appears to be a doctor's office. At the reception desk, there's a sign-in sheet with a series of names and dates. The dates in the sign sheet all carry the year 1953. You see at the receptionist desk area is on the World Faith OS under them. On the desk are the series of folders with years of them containing files that uh, clicked during using the center button mouse. Opens to the world viewer. All files appear to be pointed information. On the desk is a notepad titled From the Ask of Dr. Priskowski. Blessed Personification. Perfection. The door in the doctor's area is sketched in the same name title as well as a crucifix. Opening the door leads to a white dust-free hallway that has two examination rooms and a key-coded door at the end. Examination rooms aren't unremarkable and typical of any doctor's office. Medical cabinets are empty. A small amount of C4 is placed in the lock of the key-coded door at the request of the control, then blown, forcing the door open. The area opens into a much larger than the reception area itself. It seems to contain a series of large containment capsules. There are a total of 6 in these capsules. 2 are broken, and brownish amber material coats the floor coming from them. 1 is empty, and the last 3 have nude humans floating in them with breathing masks. Attached to the front of these tubes are medical charts showing vital signs and symptoms. The charts explain in somewhat awkward English alignments that seem more like flaws of personality or characteristics, or just incidents that occurred with the patient. We'll ask for a zoom in on one of the patient pages on the chart. After focusing, it reads, Citizen Jefferson Mezerka had suffered a lapse in the heart that had led her to lay with her neighbor twice, one upon nights of her husband's departure from their home. The patient did not submit herself to the Lord and our hands for the cleansing of the mind and body. Prayer administered by High Father Uwalakan, and patient submitted to a 3-day period in the Lord's tears to cleanse her system, then released in good spirits. Topmost page reads Citizens Albieris Farafan struck out of the High Father during a sermon, blaspheming that the Lord's tears did turn his daughter to being upright in mind and heart, thusly laying blame for a whoreship activity for the feet of the High Father and his blessings. With no proof of these blasphemies, the forgiving judge of the punishing judge did agree that Albieris Farafan should bathe in the Lord's tears himself for a week to be cleansed of the mind and soul, thus to prove his daughter's ways are fault if not the father's hands, give him peace of self. The subject who has been traveling quietly with the escort team now begins to panic. The camera pans and focuses on him and surrounded by entities similar to those witnessed in the first 2 tests. The escort team reports the subject is having a panic attack, but control requests them stand still and wait. The subject screams at the entities, which are denied to exist by team commander. Stating subject is alone in the corner. Control requests that one team member be dispatched to approach and recover the subject. The escort team member approaches the subject as ordered in the video. The figures part to make a pathway for the approaching member, who lifts subject to his feet and brings him out to the corner. Figures on video are then seen closing ranks, closing the path. Subject is lifted to his feet by an arm and escorted through the figures that close their ranks, and the subject is moved. They remain steadfastly staring at the subject no matter where he moves. Control requests that the team to return now. Team turns to leave. Before leaving, the team member mentions something noticed on a reception desk. A binder labeled The Lord's Tears. Control request binder be returned as well, as stowed in the subject's field kit. Subject returns to the elevator and turns to the ground floor. Upon leaving the building, subject points down the street towards the direction of entry. The camera pans a section of raised expressway across which once a large torso is crawling slowly. The entity turns its featureless head to look at the escort team, raises its head to the sky, and emits a bellowing sound. A team leader issues the order to move, heading for the spot marked by the wireless video receiver. The creature on the expressway extends its arm down and stretches to touch the ground. Before the camera moves to the point, all team members save one move through the entry point. Subject moves through the entry point mirror and turns to a reflective surface. 93 is dropped by subject, who panics and tries to fight his way out of the room. Subject is terminated by team leader after he draws the field kit fire pistol. Team leader requests portal be reopened, but takes several minutes to find someone who can hold 93 and generate a similar color. When matching color is displayed and applied to the mirror, the video receiver is visible and all individuals report a horrific smell. Team leader moves through the entryway and the control person are redacted. The uniform and possession of the escort team member who was left behind are present or recovered, but the member himself is nowhere to be seen and does not respond to shouts. Member assumed KIA and wireless received recorder recovered. In control, an escort returned to the entry point and mirror returns to reflect surface. Later review of the recorded camera shows escort member redacted grasped the area where the entry point should be and then turned to look up the oversized torso. A brown gel seems to drip off the creature as it moves, that disappears shortly after being dislodged as it evaporates. Several shots are fired at the creature's face, and the automatic weapon carried by Redacted that land in the face of the creature, causing a spray less vicious brown liquid to pour forth from the wounds. Redacted screams obstinately as the face of the creature descends upon him, and the camera is pushed to the ground. The camera feed remains approximately dark for 65 seconds before light comes back, and the camera films the creature crawling back to the expressway, pulling onto it, then crawling to the direction it was originally headed. Redacted believed to have been absorbed by the creature and perhaps digested. This may have been the example of these unknown entities fed by direct contact of living material. Further study is recommended to be avoided this issue. Return launch field as redacted. Next test is classified as yellow test.